Order, which is called Nuevo Orden in Spanish, is a 2020 Mexican thriller art film that is written, produced, edited, and directed. Woo! Jesus, haven't done that in a while. By Michel Franco. The wedding of an upper-class couple in Mexico City is invaded by rioters amidst a nationwide class uprising of the underprivileged and take the recipients as hostages. The Mexican army uses the disorder caused by the riots to establish a military dictatorship in the country. It innovates the kidnappings of the young adults, extortion, assaults, and torture of the kidnapped while being held in execution upon receiving no ransom. Some of it or all of it by the Mexican military. God damn! What did I get myself into watching this movie? Now, for those who have already seen New Order and know what I'm about to say, y'all know this movie is very good. Now, for those who have not seen this film, all I have to say is this. If you love films that has a lot of suspense, sorry about that, has a lot of suspense, has a lot of good chemistry when it comes to the times of Mexico, when it comes to the struggles and the rioters, and if you just love a good Purge adaptation, because I was getting a lot of Purge vibes watching this film, you are going to be in for a hellish ride. This movie is violent. This movie is brutal. This movie does not pussyfoot around when it comes to getting right down to the elements of the task of the casting. Now, I'm going to have to say right now, Michel Franco, I can see why you wanted it. I can see why you wanted this movie to be in your hands completely when it comes to the editing, the cinematography, the director's point of view of how this movie should play out, because most of the film, like 90% of the film, is done well. Soon as this movie starts, I didn't really get no violent vibes at all. As I mentioned in the headline, it shows a couple celebrating the marriage, and I was not expecting anything to be taking place in such a violent manner in such a quick time. I was on the edge of my seat so quickly, and by that movie starting off like that, I was getting a lot of Hostel vibes. If you haven't seen Hostel, or if you haven't seen Wolf Creek, whoo, man, it's been a while since I've seen a horror film that starts off with no indication of horror whatsoever. Some horror films, I don't know how to explain it, but some horror films, you can get the vibes of no matter how great things are, no matter how good the cast is when it comes to them enjoying life or just being romantic, you can tell that there's some shit going down. But with New Order, what it does right is it lets your guard down very quickly when it comes to the pacing. And I'm not saying the movie drags on that point. No, like, they show scenes on there where you feel comfortable. But when shit starts being crazy, you don't know what to expect. You get caught off guard pretty quickly on this film, and I'm about to give Michel Franco praise on that, because it's been years, probably a decade, since I felt this way watching this film. I just love indie developers, and this movie is not getting talked about enough. We watch the modern films today, and we criticize those, but I suggest you guys focus all that criticism on this film, because this movie deserves good praise. It deserves to be recognized to the media. Going back to the execution of this film, trust nobody. On some Tupac shit. Trust nobody. Now, this film has a cast on here where you're supposed to get pulled in. You're supposed to be gravitated to the development cycle of how things are going to get taken place when it comes to the rioters, the military, and just people trying to not just isolate the characters for ransom, but there are just some people that's trying to protect other civilians as well. And this is the reason why I say don't trust people, because you have some rioters that are disguised as people trying to help others. And not only that, but you have people that are disguised as civilians trying to sabotage what they're trying to do in order to survive. It is crazy. And then at the same time, you have you have survivors that is pulled in by the corner of the mercy of the rioters, saying that they need ransom, they need money. And what I love about this film is that it has a lot of decision making when it comes to people trying to do things in common sense and trying to do things rational and trying to do things out of line when it comes to them failing into the brink of common sense by fucking things up for people so they can get killed off. Now you have people that watch this film and they'll be like, well, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. But at the same time, you have people that would do the exact same thing that they would recommend people to do. You know what? That's a great way to do it. That's a great way to survive. That's a great choice to make if you want to make it out of here. But then they still die. They still get killed off. That's what I love about this film, because it's realistic. Like when you get pulled in by the brink of survival, by the brink of choice of life and death, it's easy for an audience to say what they would not do and what they would prevent when it comes to them getting the information. Oh, I would never give the rioters any ransom money because you would never survive. You have people that won't do it. You got people that will do it. But at the same time, everything plays out in a way where it's acceptable. Just don't trust nobody. This film has all aspects of survival tactics. So if you expecting the cast to be completely smart, if you expecting the cast to be completely witty when it comes to making smart decisions, they have that here, but it's mixture and it's realistic in my opinion. You're gonna have people that's gonna make fucked up decisions. You're going to have people that's going to make choices regarding to protecting their family, and you're going to have people that want to just say, fuck everybody, I am going to rat everybody out, and I'm going to try to see if I can do this my own way. And all that is on this film, and it all plays out in the correct way. And I love this film. I was pulled in by the action. I was pulled in by the horror elements, the thriller elements. I love this film a lot. I was pulled in by every aspect of this film. Will I give this movie a perfect rating? Not quite. And that is the character development. Now, don't get me wrong. I got pulled in by the characters on New Order. I love the characters on New Order. When it comes to the choices that they made, I was pulled in by the choices that they made, but I was not emotionally attached to them. When it comes to New Order, the pacing, the chemistry, like everything happened so fast. To like when you watch it, like that was me. Like when I seen the film, I was watching the characters, and then everything just happened so quick. Like everything just happened so fast to the point where, like, the violence started happening, the shooting started happening, the riots, the kidnaps. Dude, man, I'm sound like I'm witnessing a crime in the news. But that's how it is. So it happened so quick to the point where I wasn't able to be gravitated to the characters' actions. Now, I don't mind that happening, but I wish there was some downtime for me to be attached to each character. So when they make these choices, when they make these decisions when it comes to them living or try to protect their family, or when they end up getting killed off, I would get pulled in to the point where I would feel emotional weight to it. So that was one thing that this film lacked. Other than that, I love everything about this film. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you haven't seen this film, I suggest you guys watch it. If you love riot films, if you love films that is based on it had a little bit of a post-apocalyptic activity, and if you love just a purge vibe to it, you are not going to be sorry. You're going to be into a thrilling ride, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to give New Order an A. I used to wonder why any developers would, because if you guys look at like the information of how these movies get produced, majority of times any developers, they direct it. They don't just direct it, but they produce, they write it, they edit it, they do everything. And I used to wonder why they don't just have like a staff to help them out, but that's because with any developers, they have like the mindset fixed on their own perspective of how the movie should be when it comes to the pacing, the cinematography, like everything. And I understand that. And with this movie with Michael Franco, like, dude, like, I really hope you make more movies like this, or just pull me in when it comes to another film that has great chemistry when it comes to the characters, because this movie is great, in my opinion. Well, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for more of my upcoming reviews and videos headed towards your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and you guys have a damn good day.